Dear students, today we will start exercise 7.2. Result is 7.10. Fundamental theorem of algebra. Every polynomial equation fx equal to 0 of degree n is greater than or equal to 1 has at least one root, real or imaginary. The proof of this theorem is beyond the scope of this book, hence we assume the theorem to be true without proof. This theorem is also known as existence theorem of algebra. Theorem 7.11. Every equation fx equal to 0 of the nth degree has n roots and no more. For the proof, let the given equation of the nth degree be fx is equal to a naught x raised to power n plus a1 x raised to power n minus 1 plus a2 x raised to power n minus 2 plus so on plus a n minus 1 x plus a n equal to 0. By fundamental theorem of algebra, the equation fx equal to 0 must have a root, real or imaginary. Let it be alpha 1. Therefore, by factor theorem, x minus alpha 1 divides fx exactly. Therefore, fx is equal to x minus alpha 1 into phi 1x, marking this to be number 1, where phi 1x is a polynomial in x of n minus 1th degree. Again, the equation phi 1x equal to 0 has at least one root. Let it be alpha 2. Then phi 1x is divisible by x minus alpha 2 exactly, so that phi 1x can be written as equal to x minus alpha 2 phi 2x, marking this to be number 2. Using second in first, we get fx is equal to x minus alpha 1 into x minus alpha 2 phi 2x, where phi 2x is a polynomial of n minus 2th degree. Proceeding in this way, after n steps, we shall get fx is equal to x minus alpha 1 into x minus alpha 2, x minus alpha 3 and so on, x minus alpha n and phi nx, marking this to be number 3. Where phi nx is a polynomial of degree n minus n, that is phi nx is a constant, or a naught x raised to power n plus a1 x raised to power n minus 1 plus a2 x raised to power n minus 2 plus so on plus a n minus 1 x plus a n is equal to x minus alpha 1 x minus alpha 2 x minus alpha 3 so on x minus alpha n phi nx, marking this to be number 4. Comparing the coefficient of x raised to power n on both sides of fourth, we have a naught is equal to phi nx, that is, this implies phi nx is equal to a naught. Therefore, from third, fx is equal to a naught into x minus alpha 1 into x minus alpha 2 and so on x minus alpha n, marking this to be number 5. Clearly, fx is equal to 0 is satisfied when x equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha n. Hence, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n are n roots of fx equal to 0. Further, if x is assigned a value different from any one of these n roots, then no factor on the right hand side of fifth vanishes and the equation is not satisfied. Therefore, fx equal to 0 cannot have more than n roots, hence the theorem. Making note, if some or all roots are equal, the number of distinct roots shall be diminished, but the equation will be said to have n roots. Some of them or all being repeated. In this way, the generality of the theorem is maintained. The above theorem enables us to solve the converse problem. Only first, to find the equation whose roots are given. If alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n are the roots of an equation, then from the above theorem, the equation is a naught x minus alpha 1 into x minus alpha 2 into x minus alpha 3 and so on x minus alpha n equal to 0, or x minus alpha 1 x minus alpha 2 so on x minus alpha n equal to 0. Thus, to form an equation with given roots equate to 0, the product of the factors corresponding to the given roots. It may be further noted that when any one or more of the roots of a given equation are known, the equation containing the remaining roots may be obtained by dividing the given equation by the product of the binomial factors corresponding to the given roots and equating the quotient to 0. Corollary second. if the nth degree equation fx equal to 0 is satisfied by more than n values of x, then all the coefficients of fx vanish, that is fx equal to 0 is an identity. Let the given equation be fx is equal to a naught x raised to power n plus a1 x raised to power n minus 1 plus a2 x raised to power n minus 2 plus so on a n minus 1 x plus a n equal to 0, marking this to be number 1. And suppose it is satisfied by n plus 1 values of x with alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n, also beta. Since alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n are the roots of first, we have fx is equal to a naught x minus alpha 1 into x minus alpha 2, x minus alpha 3 and so on x minus alpha n. Therefore, equation first becomes a naught x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, x minus alpha 3, so on x minus alpha n equal to 0. But the equation is also satisfied for x equal to beta. Therefore, a naught beta minus alpha 1, beta minus alpha 2, beta minus alpha 3, beta minus alpha n equal to 0. Here, none of the factors beta minus alpha 1, beta minus alpha 2, beta minus alpha 3, beta minus alpha n is 0 because beta is different from all of alpha 1 to alpha n. Thus, the above relation is possible only if a naught equal to 0. In that case, the equation first is reduced to a1 x raised to power n minus 1 plus a2 x raised to power n minus 2, so on a n equal to 0. Applying the same argument to this, we get a1 equal to 0. Similarly, a2 is 0, a3 is 0, a n is 0. Therefore, all the coefficients in fx vanish. Hence, equation first becomes a naught x raised to power n plus a naught x raised to power n minus 1 plus so on plus a naught x plus 0 is equal to 0, which is an identity. Theorem next, in an equation with real coefficient, imaginary roots occur in conjugate pairs. Proof, let the given equation of nth degree be fx equal to 0. Let alpha plus iota beta, where beta is not equal to 0, be a root of fx equal to 0. Therefore, f alpha plus iota beta giving value as equal to 0, marking this to be number 1. We have to prove that alpha minus iota beta is also root of fx equal to 0. The factor corresponding to these two roots is x minus alpha plus iota beta, x minus alpha minus iota beta. Now divide fx by x minus alpha plus iota beta, x minus alpha minus iota beta. Let qx be the quotient, and if there is any remainder, it must be a linear expression in x. Let it be rx plus r dash. By division algorithm, we have number 2. As fx is equivalent to x minus alpha plus iota beta into x minus alpha minus iota beta into qx plus r dash. In this identity, putting x is equal to alpha plus iota beta, we get f of alpha plus iota beta equal to 0 plus r alpha plus iota beta plus r dash, or 0 is equal to r into alpha plus iota beta plus r dash, since f at alpha plus iota beta is given to be 0. This implies r alpha plus r dash plus iota beta are equal to 0. Equating real and imaginary parts, we get r alpha plus r dash equal to 0 and beta r equal to 0, marking these to be number 3rd and number 4th. But beta is given to be not equal to 0. As in that case, the given root alpha plus iota beta will no longer be imaginary. Hence, r equal to 0, and then from 3rd r dash equal to 0. Thus, r dash both being equal to 0 gives the remainder r x plus r dash equal to 0. This clearly shows that x minus alpha plus iota beta into x minus alpha minus iota beta divides fx exactly. Implies x is equal to alpha plus iota beta and x is equal to alpha minus iota beta both are roots of fx equal to 0. This proves the theorem. Corollary first, every equation of odd degree and real coefficients has at least one real root. Since imaginary roots occur in conjugate pairs and the equation being of odd degree has an odd number of roots, therefore at least one of the roots must be real. Corollary second, if alpha plus iota beta is a multiple root of the equation fx equal to 0 occurring r times, then the conjugate root alpha minus iota beta will also occur r times. In an equation with rational coefficients, irrational roots occur in conjugate pairs. Theorem: if an equation fx equal to 0 whose coefficients are all rational quantities has for a root the irrational expression alpha plus square root beta, where beta is positive but not a perfect square, it must also have for a root the conjugate irrational expression alpha minus square root beta. Proof: let the given equation of nth degree be fx equal to 0, marking this to be number 1. Let alpha plus square root beta, where alpha and beta are rational numbers and beta is positive and not a perfect square, be a root of the equation first. Therefore, f at alpha plus square root beta giving as 0 value, marking this to be number 2. We have to prove that alpha minus square root beta is also a root of first. The factor corresponding to the two roots alpha plus square root beta and alpha minus square root beta is x minus alpha plus square root beta into x minus alpha minus square root beta. On dividing fx by x minus alpha plus square root beta into x minus alpha minus square root beta, let qx be the quotient, and if there is any remainder, it must be a linear expression in x. Let it be rx plus r dash. Therefore, fx will be equivalent to x minus alpha plus square root beta into x minus alpha minus square root beta into qx plus rx plus r dash. Putting x is equal to alpha plus square root beta, we have f at alpha plus square root beta is equivalent to 0 plus r into alpha plus square root beta plus r dash is equal to r into alpha plus square root beta plus r dash. But f at alpha plus square root beta is given to be 0, as alpha plus square root beta is a root of fx equal to 0, implies r at alpha plus square root beta plus r dash equal to 0. This is from second. This implies r alpha plus r dash plus r square root beta equal to 0. Thus we have an irrational number r alpha plus r dash plus r square root beta which is equal to 0. But when an irrational number is equal to 0, its rational and irrational parts are separately 0. Therefore, r alpha plus r dash equal to 0 and r square root beta equal to 0. From fourth, either r equal to 0 or square root beta equal to 0, that is beta equal to 0. But beta is not equal to 0, because in that case the given root alpha plus square root beta will no longer be irrational. Hence r equal to 0, and then from third r dash equal to 0. Thus r dash both being equal to 0, the remainder rx plus r dash equal to 0. This clearly shows that x minus alpha plus square root beta into x minus alpha minus square root beta divides fx exactly. Implies that x minus alpha minus square root beta is also a factor of fx. Therefore, x minus alpha minus square root beta is also a root of fx equal to 0. This proves the theorem. Now, take corollary first. If an equation fx equal to 0 with rational coefficient has an irrational root alpha plus square root beta repeated r times, then it has also alpha minus square root beta as a root repeated r times. If the irrational root of the equation fx equal to 0 is of the type square root alpha plus square root beta, where alpha and beta are both not perfect square and positive numbers, then square root alpha minus square root beta minus square root alpha plus square root beta and minus square root alpha minus square root beta will also be the root of the equation. Corollary third, if one root is of the form square root alpha plus iota beta, then square root alpha minus iota beta minus square root alpha plus iota beta and minus square root alpha minus iota beta will also be the root of the equation. Now taking examples. Example first, form an equation whose one root is given to be 2 minus 3 iota. For the solution, let x is equal to 2 minus 3 iota. Therefore, x minus 2 becomes equal to minus 3 iota. Squaring both sides, we get x square minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 9 iota square, or x square minus 4x plus 4 is equal to minus 9, as iota square is equal to minus 1. After simplifying, equation becomes x square minus 4x plus 13 equal to 0, which is the required equation. Example second, form an equation with rational coefficients, two of whose roots are 1 plus 5 iota and 5 minus iota. Since imaginary roots of an equation occur in conjugate pairs and 1 plus 5 iota and 5 minus iota are the roots of the required equation, therefore 1 minus 5 iota and 5 plus iota are also the roots of this equation. Thus the required equation is x minus 1 plus 5 iota into x minus 1 minus 5 iota into x minus 5 minus iota into x minus 5 plus iota equal to 0. That is x minus 1 minus 5 iota into x minus 1 plus 5 iota into x minus 5 plus iota x minus 5 minus iota equal to 0. That is x minus iota square minus 5 iota square into x minus 5 square minus iota square. Simplifying this, first term giving x square minus 2x plus 26 and the second bracket giving x square minus 10x plus 26 equal to 0. After simplifying this, giving a biquadratic equation, that is x4 minus 12x cube plus 72x square minus 312x plus 676 equal to 0. Now the next problem, example third, form an equation of the lowest degree with real and rational coefficients, one of its roots being square root 2 plus square root 3 plus iota. For the solution, let x is equal to square root 2 plus square root 3 plus iota. Therefore, writing x minus iota is equal to square root 2 plus square root 3, squaring both sides, we get x square plus iota square minus 2 iota x is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 2 square root 6, or x square minus 1 minus 2 iota x is equal to 5 plus 2 square root 6. That is x square minus 6 is equal to 2 iota x plus 2 square root 6. Squaring both sides, again we get x raised to power 4 minus 12x square plus 36 is equal to minus 4x square plus 24 plus 8 square root x iota x, or x square minus 8x square plus 12 is equal to 8 into square root 6 iota x. Again squaring both sides, we get x raised to power 8 plus 64 x raised to power 4 plus 144 minus 16 x raised to power 6 minus 192 x square plus 24 x raised to power 4 is equal to minus 384 x square. Or simplifying, equation becomes x raised to power 8 minus 16 x raised to power 6 plus 88 x raised to power 4 plus 192 into x square plus 144 equal to 0, which is the required equation. Now taking example fourth, solve the equation x raised to power 5 plus x raised to power 4 minus 7x raised to power 3 plus 11x square minus 4x minus 2 equal to 0. It being given that one of its root is minus 2 plus square root 3. The given equation is x raised to power 5 plus x raised to power 4 minus 7x raised to power 3 plus 11x square minus 4x minus 2 equal to 0, marking this to be number 1. Since irrational root occur in conjugate pairs, and since minus 2 plus square root 3 is a root of first, therefore minus 2 minus square root 3 is also its root. Therefore x minus minus 2 plus square root 3 into x minus into x minus minus 2 minus square root 3, that is x plus 2 square minus square root 3 square is a factor of left hand side of first, that is x square plus 4x plus 1 is a factor of left hand side of first. Dividing x raised to power 5 plus x raised to power 4 minus 7 x raised to power 3 plus 11 x square minus 4x minus 2 by x square plus 4x plus 1, we get x3 minus 3x square plus 4x minus 2 as the quotient. Therefore first can be written as x square plus 4x plus 1 into x3 minus 3x square plus 4x minus 2 equal to 0. By inspection, 1 is a root of x3 minus 3x square plus 4x minus 2 equal to 0, marking this to be number 2. Dividing the left hand side of second by x minus 1 by synthetic division, we get the depressed equation as x square minus 2x plus 2 equal to 0, and its roots are, by finding roots becomes 1 plus minus iota. Hence the roots of the given equation are 1 plus minus iota minus 2 plus minus square root 3. Now the next problem, example 5th. If b and c are real and 2 minus square root minus 3 is a root of the equation x3 plus x square plus bx plus c equal to 0, what are the other roots and what is the value of c? For the solution, the given equation is x3 plus x square plus bx plus c equal to 0. One root is given to be 2 minus square root 3 iota. As complex roots occur in conjugate pairs, therefore the other root will be 2 plus square root 3 iota. Let alpha be the third root. From first, we have sum of all roots coefficient minus coefficient of x square divided by coefficient of x3. This is given to be minus 1. Therefore, 2 minus square root 3 iota plus 2 plus under root 3 iota plus alpha equal to minus 1, cancelling under root 3 iota, and 4 plus alpha is becomes equal to minus 1 and alpha is becomes minus 5. Thus 2 plus under root 3 iota, 2 minus under root 3 iota minus 5 are the roots of equation first. Now product of roots is equal to minus constant term divided by coefficient of x3, making the product, this giving the value for c as 35, which is the required one. Now taking example 6th, show that equation a square by x minus a plus b square by x minus b plus c square by x minus c plus so on plus h square by x minus h equal to k has all real roots. If possible, let the given equation have an imaginary root as alpha plus iota beta. Since imaginary root occur in conjugate pair, therefore alpha minus iota beta is also a root of the equation. Putting x equal to alpha minus iota beta and x equal to alpha minus iota beta in given equation, we have a square by alpha minus a plus iota beta plus b square by alpha minus b plus iota beta plus c square by alpha minus c plus iota beta plus so on h square by alpha minus h plus iota beta equal to k, marking this to be number 1, and a square by alpha minus a minus iota beta plus b square by alpha minus b minus iota beta plus c square by alpha minus c minus iota beta plus so on plus h square by alpha minus h minus iota beta equal to k, marking this to be number 2. Subtracting first from second, we get a square as common and a term becomes 1 by alpha minus a minus iota beta minus 1 by alpha minus a plus iota beta plus b square in bracket 1 by alpha minus b plus minus iota beta minus 1 by alpha minus b plus iota beta plus c square into 1 by alpha minus c minus iota beta minus 1 by alpha minus c plus iota beta plus so on h square into 1 by alpha minus h minus iota beta minus 1 by alpha minus h plus iota beta equal to 0. Or taking 2 iota beta as common, we have alpha square a square by alpha minus a square plus beta square plus b square by alpha minus b square plus beta square plus so on plus h square by alpha minus h square plus beta square equal to 0. Since each term in the bracket involves squares of real quantities, it is positive. Thus the expression in the bracket cannot vanish. Therefore 2 iota beta must be 0, and this implies beta equal to 0, which shows that the equation cannot have imaginary root, and as such all its roots are real. Now the next example, if the roots of the equation x raised to power n minus 1 be 1 alpha beta gamma and so on, show that 1 minus alpha 1 minus beta 1 minus gamma and so on is equal to n. Since 1 alpha beta gamma and so on are the roots of the equation x raised to power n minus 1 equal to 0, therefore x raised to power n minus 1 can be written as x minus 1 into x minus alpha, x minus beta, x minus gamma and so on. Dividing both sides by x minus 1, we get left hand side x raised to power n minus 1 by x minus 1 is equal to x minus alpha into x minus beta into so on x minus gamma so on. Or in left hand side term becomes After dividing, x raised to power n minus 1 plus x raised to power n minus 2 plus x raised to power n minus 3 plus so on x square plus x plus 1 equal to x minus alpha, x minus beta, x minus gamma, so on. Putting x equal to 1 on both sides, we get in left hand side as n, and in right hand side 1 minus alpha, 1 minus beta, 1 minus gamma, so on. Hence 1 minus alpha, 1 minus gamma into 1 minus gamma and so on, giving as n value, which is the required one. Dear students, try exercise 7.2, and if you have any problem then discuss with me. Thank you.